Hey scrappers, I have a bunch of copper cords here with ends on them, and many of you may be thinking, should I cut the cords off of the ends of the copper wire? And I want to show you a couple examples here we pulled out of the computer wire bin. Now this is an example of a power cord. You have some ends on it. These ends here are brass, but if you brought this to my yard, this does not go as like a regular copper wire. This is about a 25 to 32% recovery material. Not a lot of copper in here compared. I wouldn't cut these ends off. You can leave these as is. So this is a perfect example of what not to cut off. Here you have a really large end with pieces of brass. These are pieces of brass that get plugged in. Normally this is for something like an oven. Now this is an end that is too big and should get cut off. Now should you take these brass ends off? I wouldn't spend any time doing it, but I know that some people like to. You can take a pair of pliers and rip them off, but this is not something that I would spend time taking these ends off, but I would cut this, and afterwards this piece that you kind of see here would be called CBM, copper bearing material. That means that there's still going to be a couple of pieces of copper inside. These may be brass, but they do contain copper, so you put this into your CBM bucket. Other examples, this is an extension cord. An end like this with these brass pieces, I wouldn't take these off. I would leave this end right on here. That's completely fine. This, probably from battery backup. This is an end that should get cut off, especially when you see this piece of wire on it. This big piece of plastic, this is something that should definitely get cut off before being scrapped, along with removing the rope. Now here's a simple extension cord. Many of you see these at your houses. I remember my grandmother has this exact type in her living room. This again, depending on how long the cord is, this is something you might want to just leave alone. If it's longer than this, cut this end off. These are basic ones, don't have to cut these. This is like a USB wire, your connection. You don't have to cut this. You don't have to cut this. Little ends like this that would go to the battery terminals. Again, copper inside, don't have to cut it. But this gives you a basic idea of what you should and should not cut off. The bigger the end, generally the more you should cut. So when you see big pieces like this compared to small ones, think that, size matters. This is where you want to cut this one. These scrap yards generally won't give you much problems with.
Thanks for checking out this scrap video. For more exclusive scrap video content, please become a YouTube member of our channel today. Thank you, and I'll scrap you later.